everyone. Welcome to Blue Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin, and joining me tonight is my co-host, Hefty Duck. And as always, we always invite people to come on the show. If they come on, that's cool. If not, there's always next time. We got some stuff going on in the Blue Jackets world. A lot of stuff to talk about. The Blue Jackets have played 3 games since our last show. We're going to talk about them. They took 2 out of 3. They beat the Dallas Stars 5-1. They unfortunately lost to the Washington Capitals. They also beat Pittsburgh in a shootout 5-4. We're going to talk about that. So many good moments in all those games. We're going to talk about that. Ohio State, they have a new hockey jersey, and it's cool. And we're going to show that off. Ohio State almost got themselves into a little trouble there with the Blue Jackets, and I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. We have a fun new logo to talk about, and so much more. So let's get going, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Oh yeah, welcome in everybody. I'm just making a couple social media posts. And speaking of that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe wherever you're watching from. If you're watching from Twitter or from YouTube, whichever one you are watching from, we'd really appreciate it if you check out the other one. We're growing our YouTube here slowly but surely. We appreciate all the listens out there too. If you would like to listen to the show, we're available on Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you can find podcasts, we are there. Social media stuff. Anything else we got to shout out right now?
Yeah.
It's so yeah, our YouTube. It is a little bit early for us. Currently, we are doing this live. If you are listening, we're doing this live at 11 a.m. Eastern, and sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to get the show to go on.
Well, there's a reason for that, because I know last week you said, the show would be on Monday, so that would have been October 27th. But today, when we're doing this show, is October 26th, and the reason why it was supposed to be on that Monday, October 27th, is I am in Minnesota right now, and I'm going to go see the Wild play the Sharks today, October 26th, in Minnesota. And then we had it set up all good to go, and then something came up with Hefty Duck, and he's like, I can't really do it on Monday. Well, no, I could do it on Monday at this time. And it's like, there was no way I was going to squeeze it in, because I have a 5-hour car ride home back to Illinois, and I just wouldn't have been fair to Hefty Duck to say, yeah, I could do it, and then say, nope, sorry, I can't do it. I don't think I would have made it, so that's why we pushed it back to Sunday today at 11 o'clock Eastern time, because that's just the only way we're going to get this done, because we got to do a show every week, and this is the time that we could do it. So yes, I'm doing a show live from my hotel room in Minnesota, and always got to have Blue Jacket stuff with me, so I got my Blue Jackets blanket, and I have it on a TV in the hotel room as my background.
Hell yeah. Well, 7, 11, at least they all rhyme. Close enough. Yeah, I'm going to a pretty fun show in Cleveland tomorrow night. Be rocking. Speaking of Cleveland, have you heard anything about the Monsters here lately? I have not been paying close attention. I'm just wondering.
They've lost. All I admittedly know, but that I can say is that they've won some games and they've lost some games, because that's what I've seen on their Twitter page.
Right on. Shit. So, talk about all the social medias. Oh yeah, what I was saying is it's kind of early. My brain's still working on waking up a little bit. I know it's not like super early, but damn, it is. So we're gonna start out with something that's just a little funny. We gotta poke fun at Ohio State as usual. You know how we do. We're fans, but
listen. It's a little give and a little take. Sometimes we take and sometimes we take a shot. But it's in a fun, loving way. Like, you're a family, you're a friend. we see you doing something bad, and we're pulling you off to the side, and we want to say, hey, we love you very much, but you're doing something bad. Please don't do that. So please do better. And then sometimes there's times where, we pull you off to the side and say, hey, I like what you're doing, man. Keep going. Keep going. So that's why it's a little give and it's a little take. This and we're doing both on today's show. There's going to be a little give and a little take. Right now we're doing a take. I'll explain this to you. So when you look at this graphic, it says $5 beers, the $5 power play special. And it was a little special that Ohio State hockey, men's hockey, was running for their game this past Saturday. Now, this just in itself, when you look at it, it may mean nothing to you. It could be harmless. But I know the background of this story because for the last Tuesday and last Wednesday, Ohio State was posting this all over their social media, and it said fifth line special. And I saw that and it goes, uh-oh, don't do that, Ohio State. Don't do that. Don't do that. Pull that down. Get rid of that. You don't want to get sued by the Blue Jacket. Because why that matters, anything that has to do with the whole fifth line thing is legally owned by the Blue Jackets. And the Blue Jackets, they are very picky and protective of who uses their stuff. There's been I've talked to people who have worked with the Blue Jackets organization, and they've told me that you, for the most part, cannot use it. And even if you try in some way, shape, or form, they are just going to put a stop to that immediately. Like, don't even try. And if you do, we're going to sue. From simple stuff as like fifth line, as in the letter 5 TH line, or the letter 5, fifth spelled out, FIFTH line. They've, people have done that and they've gotten rid of that. Any sort of way that you have the fifth line, the Blue Jackets have, if you don't have the, permission to use it, they put a stop to that immediately. And so when I saw Ohio State post this originally and it said the fifth line special, I'm like, oh boy, don't do that, Ohio State. Pull that down immediately. You're about to get sued if you don't do anything about that. And this was up there for like 2 days. And then this past Thursday, I went back to Ohio State hockey social media pages, and what do you know? It got changed. So I don't know if this is, if it happened or not for sure. But I'm going to say this. If I had to take a guess, I would say that the Blue Jackets gave Ohio State a call on the phone and said, hey, knock this off, take it down, get rid of it. If you don't, we're suing you. So that's something that, should have been a little bit more careful there, that you just can't do that stuff. And looks like they got it fixed, because instead of saying fifth line special, it says the $5 power play special.
That's pretty funny.
So
There's
anything
so many
else?
fives in this though too. $5 beers, $5. Oops, that's my normal alarm for my Sundays. Sorry if that came through my microphone. That was loud. Yeah, 25th at 5 p.m. $5 beers, $5 power play special. Ridiculous. I get where they were going with the whole fifth line thing, but
You can't do that.
you can't do that. Shit.
And this is, and if you remember this is, so back in one of our summer shows when the Blue Jackets had development camp and Ohio State had the Blue Jackets prospects over at their football facility, and they were playing like with like all the football, wearing like a football helmet, and they were wearing like the football uniform, and they were playing in like the basketball court. And if you remember, at the end of that video, they had this goofball like legal notice, like, oh, these people don't reflect our views and they don't work for Ohio State and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, I don't think that was necessary, but whatever. And then back then. And then for the outdoor game, the Blue Jackets and the NHL wanted to use like Buckeye leaves, and Ohio State got pissy about that. It's like, oh, you can't do that because copyright infringement, whatever. I just kind of, even though, the Blue Jackets and NHL use the Buckeye leaves anyways, but that's besides the point. But I just think that's kind of interesting knowing what we know now that, you had those two things back then. They got all like, oh, no, don't do that, legal issues or whatever. And you do this, and it's like, looks like you kind of forgot something there. You don't want it when it's your stuff, but you were totally okay trying to use the Blue Jacket stuff that's not yours.
Right.
But that's besides the point. Anything else to say here?
No, this cracks me up.
All right. And now this is where the give is going to be, because we did a little take. Here's the give. Ohio State women's hockey. Awesome new jersey. I just love this. This is just awesome. A gray jersey, Ohio State in red letters, outlined in like a black, and then it's got like the Buckeye leaves on the shoulder, and like the numbers are red, and the striping pattern is cool, and like black shoulders, and like I like this. This is a good jersey and like good color contrast.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm not. I've already talked about on the show about the black jersey, the black women's jerseys that are so cool. Yeah, with Brutus on them. But these are awesome. I'm a big fan of the simplicity of this, and it's hard to see, but I think there might be some, that's scarlet and gray. I think there is some gray on the cuffs, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to see what it looks like. So like, that's cool. Maybe even the sleeves in general. I can't tell in that photo, but these are pretty dope. I would totally get one. Wonder how much they're going for. $220. I love how they did the cursive S on Ohio State though too. Cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see that by the collar. It's the state of Ohio too. I like that.
Oh, that's cool. Like for audio listeners, the little patches like where the NHL sticker, the NHL patches on like on jerseys in the NHL. That's pretty cool. That's a cool little addition there. I like that. The Buckeye patches on the shoulders. Oof.
Yeah. Yes.
And then the matching of goalie equipment to go with it, bro. The O on the back of the blocker, the black glove with the red trim, the black patch, the red trim. Oof.
It's good.
That's sick.
Good. So
that's all around. That's a hell of a sweater.
Oh, the pants. I like the pants too. The Ohio State logo. The red outline.
The whole thing's gray. And then the white stripes. Okay. That's what was kind of confusing me. It's hard to tell from the lighting. But like the whole jersey is pretty much like a light gray, and then it's got white stripes. Gotcha.
And the pants, I like the pants. The Ohio State logo, black pants, the red outlined in the gray. I like this. That's good. There's another shot of it in action. Like I like this. This is good. Like
gray sock to match with the black, white, red, white, black stripe.
Yeah. Like, dude, Ohio State men's hockey, you really need to step up your game here. Your jerseys compared to Ohio State women's hockey team are not even close. Like, Ohio State women's hockey team is beating you in the jersey competition, and it's not even close.
And the winning championships competition.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true too. That's true too.
Low blow.
Yeah, but that is what it is. All right, so there's that. Now we're going to focus on one more thing before we get going to the games here. So first, we're going to put this up on. We're going to put this up on the screen here. So this past Thursday night, I was just kind of just throwing stuff out there on Twitter, and I just had an idea, and I just said the ultimate Blue Jackets logo. A Union soldier standing behind a cannon. The Union soldier is holding the state flag of Ohio, crossed hockey stick on the Union soldier's kepi, light blue chevrons are on the Union soldier's jacket. Really use hashtag CBJ Civil War theme. I'm just throwing it out there. I didn't think much of it. Whatever. I'm not even asking someone to do anything, but whatever. But Hope at Hope Cincy Wins on Twitter responded to that tweet with this awesome design. I don't know if he did it or not, but he did it or not, but it's awesome. It's literally what I said in the tweet. Because look, it's a Union soldier. He's holding the state of Ohio flag. He's got a cannon right there. There's light blue chevrons on the jacket, and you basically kind of like crossed hockey sticks on the kepi, and then it says Columbus Blue Jackets. Like, this is just awesome. This is an awesome like Blue Jackets themed logo idea, and I just love this very much. And this is just an awesome way to use the Blue Jackets Civil War theme. So I'm just throwing this one out there. So, Blue Jackets, if you ever were looking for a Civil War theme logo, this is awesome, and this is the way to do it because I love this.
Yeah, that's sick. This would be really cool on like a sweatshirt too.
Yep.
Even just as a design.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
Obviously you are a designer, a graphic artist, Hefty Duck. So from your perspective, what you thinking here?
So first thing, I'm really immature too, so I just think it's a good thing that they pointed the cannon the way they did and not the other way they did, because I'd be giggling a little bit. No, like I said, I'm just immature. No, this is pretty awesome. I like everything they did here. I can't tell if it's hand drawn or AI or what. Either way, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much here that I would change. Maybe the cross thing on the forehead, the hockey stick's gold, because that's the insignias on the real kepis are gold or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I gotta give this one a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Giving the actual logo with the C and the star, I'll give that one like a good old like 7 out of 10 or so.
Yeah.
Like, it's good, it's quality. It's not the coolest logo in the league by far. The Canon logo's cooler, but this is fucking dope.
No,
Sweet.
I agree with that. This is just awesome. This is just an awesome way to use the Blue Jackets Civil War theme. This is just perfect. It's the Union soldier and the kepi with the crossed hockey sticks on the kepi, and he's got light blue chevrons on the jacket and the cannon and the state flag of Ohio. This is just perfect. I love the dark blue, the light blue. I just love this. This is just perfect. This is an awesome way to use the Blue Jackets Civil War theme.
Hell yeah.
We got Christopher.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, read his comment so the audio people can hear it.
I'm gonna have to agree with it. That would be cool.
So Christopher Minaber 454 on YouTube left a comment. He said, so on the logo we're looking at for our audio listeners, the flag of Ohio is like a flagpole. He says the flagpole should be a hockey stick, and that would be a pretty darn cool idea. That would be just about perfect.
Yes, it would be. And where there is a logo like that does exist,
I may or may not have drawn something like that at one point.
But what could that logo be? I know. Look, it's every single logo that Union Blue Soldiers
Oh.
uses. every
Uh,
well, except for the American flag, but it's a similar idea. But two of the three main logos that Union Blue Soldiers uses, has a hockey stick with the state flag of Ohio on it. So it does look cool. So for that other logo that we shown, that would be cool if it did have a hockey stick with the state flag of Ohio. So when Christopher says, "Oh, a flagpole should be a hockey stick," well, hey, I know what you're getting at there, because look, Union Blue Soldiers logos have a hockey stick with the state of Ohio, with the state flag of Ohio.
Christopher left us another comment here. He says, "Pleasant surprise you guys are on this morning." Yeah, we explained it at the beginning of the show a little bit. We had to, we gotta do what we gotta do to keep the show rolling. And sometimes that's 11 a.m. on a Sunday. Well, it's 10 a.m. for Kevin.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, we appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
Appreciate all the other almost 40 of you out there watching right now too. Thank you all very much for joining us. I know it's been a weird time, but hell, if we had a bunch of views right away, maybe we'll just do this more often.
So yeah, maybe. But no, Christopher, you can go back and watch the beginning of the show if you want to know why we're doing this earlier than expected. But anyways, all right. So we're now going to move on to the games that just happened, and we're going to talk about them. So first up, the Blue Jackets had the first game last week. They played out in Dallas. They beat the Stars 5-1. And that was definitely one of the best games they played all season long so far. Kind of a small sample size because they haven't played a lot of games yet. But that being said, it was one of the best games they played all season long so far. And really the reason is that for, like, let's say 9 times out of 10, for a majority of that game, the Blue Jackets played a really good game there. They didn't really give the Stars a lot to work with for the most part. And then on top of that, when the Blue Jackets have done good, not just this past season, but even in the small sample size so far this season, is that their 5-on-5 game really comes out strong. They were good last season at 5-on-5, and this season they are still good on 5-on-5. Last season they were good at scoring goals. This season, they are still good at scoring goals, and that really comes through in big moments, and that's what we've seen with the Blue Jackets. Is that they had a real good first period. They get 2 big goals from Adam Fantilli and Boone Jenner. They're up 2-0 after the first period. Played really good there. Now the second period, that's where it gets a little bit sloppy there, a little questionable there, because they kind of got a little sloppy there and didn't start to play very good. And Dallas did get the goal there to make it 2-1. It could have been much worse than that had Elvis and Bersley not make some big saves to keep the Blue Jackets in the game there. We could, if that went a different way, we could be sitting here today looking like, oh, the Blue Jackets, they're playing a good game there, but they lost because of a bad second period. Or maybe they won, but it was still, but they gave up some goals. But they only gave up 1, because once they got to the third period, they played much better. They did not really give the Stars much to shoot at, played real good defensively. And the difference in this game is, they really blew it open in the third period because they had a 3-goal third period. Just awesome effort. Definitely one of the better games they played all season. And this week, in all 3 games, we are going to talk about just how good Yegor Chinakhov has been playing. It's just been outstanding. He's really stepped it up. He's taken, because Miles Wood is hurt right now because he got that high stick in the game against the Devils.
I saw some article that said that he almost lost his eye or something.
Yes.
Like, geez.
Yes, it was that bad. And so because of that, Miles Wood hasn't been playing for a bit now. And so Yegor Chinakhov, this has been your moment to shine. You have this open spot. You need to take it and go run with it. Make sure that you make it hard on the Blue Jackets to take you out. And that's exactly what Yegor Chinakhov has done. All these last three games he's played, he's looked awesome. He's really stepped it up. He's really coming on strong here. You can see it. You can see the good Yegor Chinakhov that we all know that he can be when he's working his ass off. He's grinding it out, trying really hard. And yes, he's getting his opportunities to shoot. And you see it. When he shoots it, oh boy, it's a heater. It's 99, 100 miles per hour. And that's just like a wrist shot where he's barely putting any effort into it, where he's just putting it on net. We've seen the goals where it's a slap shot and boom, he just blows it past him. And then Yegor Chinakhov with a really good play to help set up the Denton Mateychuk goal, which was the third goal in the game against Dallas. As Yegor Chinakhov, he gets the puck, he gets into the offensive zone, and he draws defenders to him because it looks like maybe he's going to shoot it. And he draws defenders to him, and then he kind of stops and backs up, and then he kind of waits for Mateychuk to quickly get into the offensive zone. He passes it to Mateychuk, and then Denton Mateychuk shoots and scores. Awesome play set up by Yegor Chinakhov. So and we'll talk more about him in the game against the Capitals, and the Penguins playing pretty good, but he was playing pretty good here. So overall, this was an 8 out of 10 game for me. It's just a really good game, one of the best games the Blue Jackets have played all season so far. The reason why it's not 10 out of 10, because, well, you gave up a goal there and you were kind of sloppy there in the second period. But minus that, everything else was good, and you played a good game there.
Yeah, no, this was really good overall from the Blue Jackets. I have to commend the special teams here, both the power play and the penalty kill, as the power play was 2 for 2 for the Blue Jackets, and for Dallas it was 0 for 2.
Yeah.
So the penalty kill came in handy there, and right off the rip too. It was close to the end of the first period. Boone Jenner got that first power play goal. So we saw goals from Fantilli, Jenner. Nothing from the Blue Jackets at all in the second period that Kevin was talking about. Tyler Seguin. That close enough?
Seguin.
I hear it pronounced like I watch like the Hockey Guy and like the NHL Network and stuff like that, and then as soon as like I go to pronounce it, I'm like, my tongue is just like says it wrong. Not even like a Russian name. Anyway, so then there's third period. Mateychuk scored his first of the season. Well, that was Chinakhov's first assist. Dmitry Voronkov scored his third of the season on a power play goal, and then Kent Johnson scored his second of the season on an empty netter for that. So the penalties were few and far between. Sillinger had a holding in the first period. Nothing came of that, obviously. I said over 2 earlier. And Maverick Bork. Jeez, I don't really know certain out of the conference. Sometimes I don't know the last names quite as much, I guess. But that's interference on Boone Jenner. That's where the Blue Jackets scored their 1 goal. Second period, Proby had a 2-minute for holding on Jason Robertson. And in the third period, the second time the Blue Jackets scored the penalty power play, Colin Blackwell got a 2-minute holding for holding the stick of Dmitry Voronkov. So Kevin mentioned Chinakhov, and Chinakhov has been, to me, he passes the eye test 100% easy. He's working for it. He does not want to sit on the bench. We talked about it a little bit last week. It's absolutely baseless. Like, there's no reason. No, I've not heard a single rumor, but I have pondered if they're keeping him out to keep him healthy for possible trade. But at this point, he's playing so well, you cannot keep him out. When Miles Wood gets healthy again, there's going to be some sort of tough conversation someone's going to be having at that point. So wish you the best for your return, Miles Wood. In the meanwhile, I'm glad that Chinakhov is making the most of this opportunity that he's been given. 'Cause you could just tell. I mean, I like opening night when they like were, doing all the roster or whatever, and he's over on the bench in his like nice shirt and tie and everything like that. He's just like, "Hi, I'm just here on my bench, chilling." Like that's not nowhere someone who's competitive really wants to be. The Jackets, other than the power play, they generally their faceoffs have been really good this year, and for the most part, they've been equal or a little bit better than other teams. And this one didn't have as good of faceoffs, but it didn't seem to matter as much. They had a lot more hits. Dallas had way more block shots, but both teams were kept under 30 shots for this game. 29 for Columbus and 23 for Dallas. That's a huge, huge reason why the Blue Jackets were able to win 5-1. Keep them to 23 shots. You give them 33, that could be an extra, 2-3 more goals. You never know. Like you saw in the game last night, how quickly 2 goals can be scored against your goaltender. So overall, I would give this one a good old, like, with the low penalties and everything. This would be a 10 out of 10 for me if Dallas wouldn't have scored, especially on the road too. I mean, we saw last year that the Blue Jackets really struggled on the road a bit, and it's hard for any team when you're not at home. It's a different time zone. I went to go put the game on, and I get to my the FanDuel app, and I'm like, "What's going on? Where's my hockey?" It's like it'll start at 7:30.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, pretty good game. Glad to see it. I believe that Voronkov got the Did Voronkov get the donkey hat that game?
No,
Merzlikins.
yes.
Yeah,
It was always
Merzlikins. He had a 957 save percentage. He was first star of the night. Boone Jenner was second star of the night. And sometimes they gotta throw a home team in there to make him feel better. Seguin was the third star of the night with 1 goal for himself. But yeah, unlike the next game that we're gonna talk about,
Yeah.
that was a really good one.
No, this was so the Blue Jackets. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the Blue Jackets game that they played against the Capitals, and this is one that the Blue Jackets are going to look back at and say, "Damn, we should have had that. We should have had that one," because the unfortunate reality is that for a majority of that game, they played a real good game there. And it's not just the eye test that back this up when you watch it. The analytics also back this up. We've talked about this in regards to the game against Nashville. Like, if you played that game, like 10 times out of 10, the Blue Jackets would win that like 8 or 9 times out of 10. That's how it go. It's a similar thing with what the Blue Jackets just did with the Capitals. If you play that game 10 times, let's say 8 or 9 times out of 10, the Blue Jackets win that game. However, though, unfortunately, the 1 or 2 times out of 10 happened for the Blue Jackets, and they didn't win that. And the reason is this. The Blue Jackets were playing a real good game there, and they had so many chances to just score and put it away. And other than the 1 goal that they got from Denton Mateychuk, other than that 1 goal, they couldn't put it in the net. And
Logan Thompson was just a beast, though, too.
Well, there's that. He played a good game and everything, but I'm putting that off to the side. I'm focusing on what the Blue Jackets have to do, because you can have games like that where a goalie, you're playing against a team that has a goalie who's playing a good game, making big saves. Even if that may be, you still have to try your best to fight past that and put pucks in the net. And unfortunately, other than the 1 goal from Denton Mateychuk, the Blue Jackets did not do that. And eventually what happens in hockey is that if you have so many chances to score and put it away and you don't do it, eventually the other team's going to go down the other side of the ice. they're going to score and they're going to put their chances away, and it forever changes the momentum of the game. And that's kind of exactly what happened there. Is that the Blue Jackets, they had all these chances to score, they put it away, they can't get it done, and then in the second period, the Capitals go down to their offensive zone, they shoot, they score, they're up 1-0. And then in the third period, the Capitals score two quick ones to go up 3-0. And on the second goal, you leave Alex Ovechkin wide open. You can't do that. That's a no-no. When you're playing the Capitals, you can't leave Ovechkin wide open. That's a no-no. You
And
don't
he's
do
been doing the same thing for like a decade.
yeah.
But like it's a problem with other teams and just the Blue Jackets. But like you can't. Like you have to learn. Like he's gonna be there.
Yeah. You just cannot leave him wide open. You have to, if you're playing the Capitals, you have to make sure that if someone scores a goal, it's not Ovechkin. Make them earn it, make them work for it. But they didn't do that. And then the third goal happens quickly, just, kind of a bad turnover, and then it goes the other way, and then it's in the net. And now the Blue Jackets do get a goal after that. It's 3-1. They think they score on the second one, Voronkov. It gets taken away because he kicked it, kicked it. Can't do that. So,
It looks so reactionary. I mean, I'd have done the same thing probably. Just anything to get that puck in. It did look like a kick though, unfortunately. Unlike Jenner's the other night.
yeah. So, so there was momentum there because the Blue Jackets, the third period was strong. They're playing really good. They get the goal there. Things are looking positive for the Blue Jackets. And then they score another goal, and everyone's going crazy. Then it gets reviewed. Okay, no goal because Voronkov kicked it in. And then shortly after that, Matthew Olivier, I love you very much, but that was not a very smart penalty you took there. Is that you did a high hit, and that costed you because that became a 5-minute major, and there was just over 7 minutes to go, and effectively that killed it right there. Because what happened is that even if you kill that penalty and you don't allow any goals to get scored, you've effectively taken a good chunk off the clock, making it harder for you to come back. Because you're just over 7 minutes, and then if you kill the 5, now you're just over 2 minutes, and you don't have a lot of time to go there to try and win. So even if you killed it, you still would have made it harder to come back to win. Unfortunately, you gave up 2 goals on that power play, and now you're down 5-1. And essentially, whatever chance you had to come back once that power play was done, you were done. You were not going to win that game. So the unfortunate reality when you look back at that game is that the Blue Jackets are saying, damn, we should have had that one. Because you play 9 times out, you win that one. You play that game 10 times out of 10, you win it 8 or 9 times out of 10. You played a good game. The analytics say you played a good game. But the unfortunate reality is that you had a couple dumb mistakes, a little brain fart, and that's why you lose. And that's been the thing with the Blue Jackets so far this season is that if they lose, it's because they're playing a pretty good game, and then they just have some stupid mistake or brain fart, and that's what costs them the game. So if you don't have that little brain fart, the little dumb mistakes there, you win that game. So that's just one that the Blue Jackets are going to be looking back at and say, like, we should have had that one.
Even Washington's coach, Spencer Carberry, here's a quote from him after the game. I think we just stole 2 points. Logan was fantastic, especially to keep us in at the first, whatever it was, 40 minutes of the game. The direct quote from the coach, I think we just stole 2 points. And you don't hear that when you look at the score, and 5-1. You don't think about, that's a close game. Because against Dallas, it was not. It was not a close game with Dallas, with projecting to get Dallas. But this game last night, not last night, but against the Caps, it just all like one chip out and the whole wall crumbled. It was just Unfortunate, and the momentum they had got killed immediately too. It was so stupid. Um, so the first period, both teams super solid, no goals at all, either team. And there's no goals for the majority of the game up until about a minute 40 left in the second period. John Carlson gets one for the Caps. So that I think helped give the Caps momentum coming out from for the third period, because instead of it being a minute 40 at the end of the period, it was about a minute 40 into the period when Obi in his office ripped one home. Justin Sordiff scored then for the Caps, and then Denton Matejchuk's goal, really nice. His second goal in 2 games, and for the whole season. That so recently I've seen that the major assessed to Matthew Olivier has been dropped by the NHL or NHLPA or whatever, due to not wanting it to add on to a suspension, a possible future suspension or something like that. So that's weird to me. It was very much not intentional. I understand that he did clip his chin, but then also there was no damage really caused. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes. I mean, to me, that's almost like a high stick that doesn't make someone bleed. You know, there's no injury on the play. You
Yeah.
clipped them. 2 minutes.
Right.
Like they called it 2 minutes, and then the Carberry said something. You see him like motion to his chin at the ref or whatever. They go back, review it, and then they come out with they assess the major penalty on there too. You know, this game is not on the refs at all. Very few games ever actually are. I can use Detroit, but like so, that was the damper that Columbus did not need. And as good as their special team was the previous game, you cannot go that many minutes in a row and expect not to get scored on. And especially when you're not out of the box with the first time they score. That sucks, because you had the major in there and whatnot too. So yeah, I guess it started to get a little heated then too, and oh man, it probably was just the icing on the cake when Tom Wilson scored. Damn. Penalties weren't too crazy out of control this game. Realistically, okay, they were kind of out of control. So there's 5 power plays according to the stats for the Capitals, and they scored 2 out of the 5. So it's not bad. It's less than half, I guess. But still, gotta stay out of the box. Their hits were pretty even. Blocks were close enough. The thing is, 5-1, but the Blue Jackets had 35 shots and kept the Caps to 30 even shots. You know, that all is makes me wonder a little bit as to what's going on. But like Spencer Carberry said, Thompson was a beast. It was crazy. When you rip more shots on goal and still end up losing, it's a very rare thing to see, but it obviously happens. So, real quick, I'll talk about the goaltending. I'll talk about this after we talk about the next game too. So I'm just bringing up the box score real quick. Jet Greaves. So unfortunately, that game was not his highlight reel, but it's going to happen, especially against a very experienced team like the Capitals. I mean, they won the President's Trophy last season. They were like Ovi's incredible. They're built for the playoffs. They're built to win. But Jet Greaves has been holding his own. According to Money Puck this morning, Jet Greaves is ranked 8th in goals saved above expected. Merzlikins is ranked 16th, so there's 2 goalies in the top 20 of goals saved above expected. Granted, we're very not very far in the season, but we haven't been able to say that in the last few years. There's progress. There's some small progress. So yeah, that's all I really have about that game. The next game fared a lot better. Well,
Yeah.
there was definitely some parts. Wait, real quick. I guess I would have rated the game against the Caps, like a 3.
Yeah.
You got a goal. Congrats, Denton Matejchuk, on your second NHL goal, but or second goal of the season, whatever.
Yeah.
But 3 out of 10. Anyway.
So, now we're going to talk about the final game that the Blue Jackets have played since our last show, and that the Blue Jackets were in Pittsburgh this past Saturday, and they beat the Penguins 5-4 in a shootout. First period was kind of a mixed bag because at times you gave up 2 goals, and at times you kind of played sloppy there. But yet, you also got a goal there from Charlie Coyle, and there were parts during that first period where you played really good. Like, again, this is a thing that the 5-on-5 game for the Blue Jackets was strong, really good last season, and so far this season, the 5-on-5 game for the Blue Jackets is really good and comes on strong again. And that's what exactly happened again. That not only the game against Dallas or the game against the Capitals, but also this game against Pittsburgh. So that was kind of a mixed bag first period. It was okay. Like you kind of sloppy. You gave up 2 goals there, but then you did play better as the first period went along, and you did get a goal from Charlie Coyle. So that was good. Second period, way better. That was one of your better periods you played all season long. You did not really give Pittsburgh anything to shoot at, and you get a goal there to tie it up at 2. So that's good. And then then the third period, you get 2 goals. Yeah, the second period you get a goal from Voronkov. Then the third period, it's kind of an opposite of what happened in the first period. Is that, you know what, you started out good, you played a good game there, good period, you scored 2 goals there, you get one from Yegor Chinakhov, and then you get one from Dmitry Voronkov. You're playing a good game there, you're looking good. And then, like we've said so many times so far this season on the show, is that the Blue Jackets, for whatever reason, unfortunately, have a lapse in judgment where they make a bad mistake or 2, they have a brain fart, and then it screws them. And that's exactly what happened, is that you're playing a good game there, Blue Jackets. You're having a good period. You get 2 goals there. You're up 4-2. And then 1 or 2 dumb mistakes. You have a brain fart, and it's tied up at 4. You give up 2 quick goals. And it's just like, you just can't do that. You just can't keep doing that, because the momentum was with the Blue Jackets. You could see it, you could feel it when watching the game, that everything was going the Blue Jackets' way. It was on their side. They got playing a good third period, playing a good game. You get 2 quick goals, and then Pittsburgh calls a timeout to try and settle things down. Because I have a feeling if they didn't call that timeout, it would have gone a whole lot worse for them, that the Blue Jackets would have kept going and just put more pressure on them. When the Blue Jackets are at their best under Dean Evason, they are putting the pressure on, they're aggressive, they're working their ass off, they're grinding it out, physicality, speed, and they're just putting pucks on net. You're not going to outwork them, and they're going to make your life hell. They're just going to put pucks on net, aggressive, grind it out, out-hustle, out-skill, grind out the opponent. And they were doing that. And I have a feeling if that timeout wasn't called, they would have done that as well. But Pittsburgh calls the timeout, and then that's when things settle down for them. Blue Jackets with the 2 dumb mistakes, the brain fart, they give up the 2, which leads to giving up the 2 goals. it's tied up at 4, and it's just like, God damn. I hope we don't piss this one away because of that. And then it gets to overtime, and both teams have chances to put it away. They can't. And then it gets to the shootout, and last season the Blue Jackets were good in shootouts. They went 6-1. Elvis Merzlikins went 5-0 in shootouts. Didn't lose a shootout last season, and that again, one game, small sample size, but that trend from last season of being good at shootouts and Elvis Merzlikins being good at shootouts continued because the Blue Jackets had 3 chances to score. They score all 3 chances. It's Kent Johnson, Adam Fantilli, Kirill Marchenko, and when the Blue Jackets needed Elvis Merzlikins to make a big save to put a stop to it to end the game, he did that, and they got the job done. So it's good to see that as of right now that the Blue Jackets are still good in shootouts, because you're going to need that throughout the season. You're going to have to count on them to get it done, and they did that. So that was like a 7 out of 10 for me, because spots where you played awful and you looked terrible and you gave up 4 goals and you had some dumb mistakes and some brain fart moments that you didn't need to do that, but you did. But then on the flip side of that, there were some big moments there where you played good. You get 5 goals, and when you need to get it done in the shootout, you got it done. You scored the goals. Elvis Merzlikins makes the big saves to help the Blue Jackets keep them in the game and win the shootout. And then when you need to get it done, you get it done. So overall, some hits, some misses, some stuff I didn't like about that game, some stuff I did like about that game. That was a 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the assessment because, like, obviously they won, and getting wins in Pittsburgh is a rare commodity for the Blue Jackets. It's only the second time out of like the past decade that they've won. Yeah, like the 2 out of the last who knows, like they don't win there.
Yeah.
It's been a long, like they did last season for the first time in like over 9 years, and then
Yeah.
so 2 seasons in a row wins at Pittsburgh. Something's happening. I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, Pittsburgh's aging and slowing down a little bit, but they're still a good team. And this was a pretty good game overall. I was a little bit disappointed in how many goals were given up. I was working while watching this game, and so I got to catch a lot of like the big main points. And first shot of the game being a goal just does not bode well,
No.
especially when it's like the Penguins like Hall of Fame night and they had all this celebration shit going on. These boys are really trying to win that game.
Yeah.
All those. I mean, everyone's trying to win every single game, but there's that extra like gotta win this for the guys type thing.
Yep.
And first shot right in. Now the Blue Jackets did fight back. They did get theirs back about 15, almost 16 minutes into the period. Charlie Coyle got that goal. It was great. Charlie Coyle has been great for the Blue Jackets this season so far, in my opinion. Mantha scored for the Penguins close to the end of the period. But Dmitry Voronkov, we got to talk about him a little bit. Dude has been a beast out there. He got his 4th goal of the season. Currently, he is the I'm sorry. Yeah, that first one was his 4th goal of the season. He currently is the points leader on the Blue Jackets. He has 1 more point than Kirill Marchenko with 9 points. So pretty awesome. He also has a plus-minus of +8. The 2 other highest on the team, Sean Monahan +7 and +6 for Marchenko and Werenski. But nothing else second period. Both teams played pretty good defense. There were not many penalties given up, which was good. Unfortunately, in the third period, so big shout out to Yegor Chinikov as well for showing up, showing out. He is fighting for that spot with his life, you can tell. And he's showing up for the game. He's not getting very many minutes, but he's the minutes he gets with the impact he makes, doing more with less, is so much more you can ask of him. I could tell, like we said earlier, about the opening night, how he was a little bit like, yeah, I'm on the bench, but hey, I'm glad to be here type. Totally get it. So he had a nice shot. That was 2 minutes into the third period. Dmitry Voronkov with his 5th goal of this season comes in with about 5 minutes in the period. So the Blue Jackets were doing great up until then. There was a power play. They gave up a penalty, of course, and Chris Letang slapped one home with a big old slap shot. And yeah, it was 2 minutes on the dot later that Brian Rust tied up the game 4-4. So that's rough to have happen in the final few minutes of the game, because you start out like, oh shit, they score. You go back up, you're in the lead. Now they scored one, like, oh, okay, it's a power play. It's to be expected. Maybe this year's not been great with the special teams, but like in the second goal when it ties it up, and oof, it's a big night for the Penguins. Big night for them. But nothing would happen in overtime. And then they go to the shootout. So this is only the 4th time, I think, ever that the Blue Jackets have won a shootout where every single shooter they sent out, the first 3 shooters they sent out there, all 3 of them scored immediately.
Yep.
And I mean, yeah, they're like it's a young team. They're 25 years old. It's obviously not like some of the other big like teams out there that have been there since the original whatever. But that's huge. That's amazing. That was Kent Johnson coming out there, Adam Fantilli coming out there, and Kirill Marchenko. You got 3. I mean, those 3 guys, definitely some of the best shooters on the team. There's a reason that those were the first ones to go out. I mean, Kent Johnson, I seen someone, I don't want to call him out because I don't want to be mean to him or anything, but there was someone on X, Twitter, that was talking about how they thought that Johnson should get demoted and Chinakhov should get promoted. And I don't necessarily agree with that assessment. They said that they thought Johnson looked kind of like Laine, how he was out there like skating half speed or like barely. He's out there for a skate. He's not out there to win. And it's like, I don't think that in the slightest. I think Kent Johnson's been great this season. He's improved every season he's been in the NHL. Every season he gets a little bit more muscle, gets a little bit bigger, he gets a little quicker. His puck handling skill is top notch. There's a reason he's the first one out there. He's there to set the tone and score.
Yep.
Brian Rust and Sidney Crosby did score their goals, but then Evgeny Malkin missed his last goal. I said it was a save, but I thought he shot it high anyway. So congrats. That's amazing. Winning on the road in Pittsburgh, fantastic for the Blue Jackets. Once again, though, they had a game here where they held the other team to 30 shots, and they got 41 shots on goal. That should not be an overtime thing. That should be a win. If you're getting 41 you're getting 11 more shots on goal, you got to win those. Face-offs, Penguins were a little bit better. It's whatever. Penguins were 1 of 3 for the power play. Jackets were 0 for 2. More hits for the Jackets, equal block shots, 20 giveaways for the fucking Penguins, and 8 for the Blue Jackets. I mean, you can't be doing that, Penguins. So, yeah, overall, I would give this a good 7 out of 10 because, yes, they won. They won against the Penguins. They won on the road against the Penguins, but in terrible fashion. So the Blue Jackets will meet up with Pittsburgh again in Columbus on November 28th. So coming up here just about almost exactly a month from now, and we'll see how that goes. They have to play them 3 more times this season, and after that first loss at home, I can guarantee you the Penguins are going to be out for blood here the next few games.
Yeah,
I would be pissed. I would be pissed if I were them. But overall, good game.
And another thing to point out here, because Hefty Duck was right, is that you look at historically in the last almost 10 plus years, the Blue Jackets, when they go to Pittsburgh, they really don't get wins. So for them to get 2 wins the last 2 seasons in Pittsburgh, that's so big and huge to get positive momentum out of that and build on that and just get that, oh, you can't win in Pittsburgh thing out of the way. Because before these last 2 wins in Pittsburgh, the last time the Blue Jackets won games in Pittsburgh, you'd have to go back to November of 2015 when they won 2-1. And even before that, you would have to go back to April 2014 when the Blue Jackets were playing the Penguins in their first round Stanley Cup playoff series that year, when they beat the Penguins in Game 2 in double overtime 4-3. So like that's 3 wins in the last 10 plus years that the Blue Jackets have had in Pittsburgh. For whatever reason, over the last 10 years, they have just struggled to get wins in Pittsburgh. And yet, in those same 10 plus years, I can think of times when the Blue Jackets have been Pittsburgh in Columbus. That be in the playoff series they played against them both in 2014 and regular season games, and then they beat them at one game in the playoff series in 2016, 2017. They beat them in overtime. They beat them in shootouts and other regular season games over the years. So, like, they can beat them. It's just, for whatever reason, it's historically, for the most part, only been in Columbus. So, like, now that we have 2 straight wins in 2 straight seasons in Pittsburgh for the Blue Jackets, positive momentum to build on that and just get going and just keep going and putting that in the positive direction. Because the thing is for as long as you are in the Penguins division, you are going to play them 4 times a year, which means 2 in Columbus and 2 in Pittsburgh. And if you make the playoffs, and if Pittsburgh makes the playoffs, you're probably going to play them in the playoffs. So you're going to need to get that done, just like you have before in those 2 playoff series. So it's good that they're finally getting wins in Pittsburgh again and just start building on that.
Yeah, for sure. Because, that's considered one of the big rivalries, because anything from Pennsylvania, anything from Michigan and Ohio, those are like the closest states that they generally have rivalries with, at least specifically Pittsburgh and and they did play very well against their other rival team earlier this year with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And so like overall good games from everyone. So Merzlikins last night with that win, he passed Steve Mason in Blue Jackets history for second most wins by a goaltender overall, with 97 wins, past Steve Mason's 96. So congrats to you, Merzlikins, moving on up. You got a lot to go to meet up with Bobrovsky, but he was here for a long time and was very, very good. So and then another shout out to Zach Aston Reese. He scored his 100th NHL point recently. So big congrats to you, Mr. ZAR. Currently he is sitting at, where is his name? Regular stats, points. He's got 3 assists for 3 points this year, +1. And I'll just go over points leaders here real quick too. Just like I like looking at stats and shit like that. And I talked about a little bit about it, that Voronkov is above Marchenko right now with 9 points. They're tied with 5 goals apiece. Voronkov and Marchenko both have 5 goals. Voronkov just has that 1 extra assist. For being a +8 with 10 penalty minutes, it's the 3rd most penalty minutes on the team after Olivier, and actually Boone Jenner has the most. What a hell of a fight by Boone, though. Holy shit. That was inspiring. I tell you what. For anyone who might have missed it last night, there was a really big tilt. And it's funny, like I said, I was working, and all of a sudden I hear one of my clients go, oh, they're fighting. Because I had the game up on my iPad and stuff like that. We could all see it. And I look up just to see the whole thing happen, fold, and they both kind of just like stopped at one point, both tired, but I personally, Boone got the better of him. He got that helmet off. He knocked him so hard. Yeah, that one hardcore right hook that he had, dangerous. One of the wouldn't want to fill that one. But always, never want anyone to get hurt, but always good to see the captain out there sticking up for himself, sticking up for teammates and all that, which is great because Olivier does an amazing job at that. But there's more than one guy on the team that's willing to go down, and I'm a little worried. Some of the younger guys are like totally kind of down for it. I mean, sorry, there's a gnat just flew in front of my face. I'm a little worried. Fantalia seems more than ready and willing to tilt with somebody if he wants, but they seem to keep him back from doing that yet as much.
I've seen some videos of this on like Twitter and stuff where when Adam Fantilli was at Michigan, he got into some little physical altercations and little, a little scrums and everything during games. Like it didn't happen a lot, but he did do it. So like, do I necessarily want Adam Fantilli to do that sort of thing when he's with the Blue Jackets? No. But at the same time, if he did it, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. And if he did do it, he would be the type of guy where he could do it and he wouldn't like get himself hurt or screw himself in any sort of way where he could handle himself because Adam Fantilli is a bigger guy, 6'1", 2, 3, or however tall he is, a bigger dude and like 200 plus pounds. So like he could get it done if he had to do it. I would rather not him do it, but he has done it at Michigan, and so if he did do it, he could handle himself, and I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if he did do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a big dude.
So,
Don't want to fight any of those guys.
all right, next
But
up.
yeah, a couple good games for the Blue Jackets. I've been pretty happy with at least the performance. Like I talked about, goaltending's been pretty damn good too. So, anyways.
So, next up from the Blue Jackets PR Twitter page. So, what Hefty Ducks already talked about that. First, this is the fourth time that the Blue Jackets earned a win in a shootout when all three shooters scored. Previous three times they did it: November 24th, 2007 against Detroit, December 27th, 2010 against Minnesota, December 13th, 2011 versus Vancouver.
14 years?
Yeah,
since they've done that?
Almost 14.
That's insane. Yeah, like a month or two away from being like 14 years. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's another thing I want to bring. Okay, right here. So, I'll give this a little retweet right here. Why not? So, the Blue Jackets have done something for the fourth time in Blue Jackets history, is that they have started out their first 4 home games 3-1 with 6 points, and that's something that they've done in the 2010-2011 season, 2017-2018 season, and the 2018-2019 season. Why this matters is because we all know that the Blue Jackets have struggled on the road last season. They only got 12 wins. Most of their wins last season were at home. Another thing to consider here is that the Blue Jackets did not get their third road win until December last season. So that right there is an improvement, that it's October and you already have your third win on the road this season. Because, the road record wasn't very good last season, and that's the reason why you didn't get into the playoffs. You still had a good season. You played way better than expected, but that's why you didn't get in. So to improve on the road record right here and go 3-1 on your first 4 road games is very big, important, and a huge improvement, and it's good to see, and I like seeing this, and the Blue Jackets, they need to keep going.
Absolutely. I can't, it's weird looking back through the history and and whatnot of the Blue Jackets to see like stats like this. It's crazy.
Yes. So next up, you can go to the Columbus Library and get a Blue Jackets themed library card. So if you are in and around the Columbus area, you can go to the Columbus Library and get yourself a Blue Jackets themed library card. I know if I was in the Columbus area, Columbus/Columbus area, then I definitely would be going down to the Columbus Library and getting myself a Blue Jackets themed library card
Oh yeah,
because
those are sick.
it's awesome. It looks cool, and to tell you the truth, like I really don't go to the library that much, but this would be a reason for me to go to a library to get myself a Blue Jackets themed library card.
Yeah, I do like the. I like my local library. I'm a bit a bit north from Columbus, or I'd go get one myself. But those are pretty sick. I just love how they have. This would be just like a cool like. You ever seen like those stickers for debit cards and stuff like that? That would be
Yes,
a cool one for this.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
So, so there's that. Next up, so John Butchergross, we showed this goal that Caden Lindstrom scored on last week's show. Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom, who's playing at Michigan State. But this is what John Butchergross has to say about Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom. He says, Caden Lindstrom looked outstanding last night for MSU. He's a strong, sturdy player who has acceleration and grit, but also plays with the little things matter details. A great kid with bounce and energy. He's a winning kind of player. So John Butchergross is one of the top hockey experts out there. He does stuff on ESPN and ABC and a bunch of other places. So if John Butchergross says something about either your team, your player, or a prospect, that usually means it's pretty good, and he's probably right about that. So it's good to see Caden Lindstrom doing good, and it's good to see John Butchergross saying something good about Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom.
Yeah, right. Like he's like the biggest journalist reporter for like the most mainstream hockey, college hockey kind of guy. You just don't really see too many other people in his position. Actually, I haven't really been seeing him much around. I mostly have only been watching FanDuel and NHL Network though. I really like the NHL Network where like it shows like the big plays from around the league. When the Blue Jackets aren't playing, I still love hockey and I want to see something, but I mostly just want to see the cool plays. But anyway, love seeing Buccigross out there. You know, it's great. I just like him a lot because he never forgets about Columbus.
Nope.
Just like he never forgets about college hockey, which is pretty cool to see. And I mean, this was a big game for both these teams here. Michigan State against Boston University. Those are two big hockey schools, and you know, see Caden Lindstrom shine out from those guys. There's a reason that he's already got a team, an NHL team lined up.
Yep. I mean, you can see it. I mean, the reasons why the Blue Jackets picked him is that he's big, he's physical, he's got a little grit, a little physicality, a little grinded out attitude, and he can skate, and most importantly, the dude can score. He can score goals, and he can put the puck in the net, and he's a center. And center depth has been an issue with the Blue Jackets for some time now. And if you can have a center depth of a guy like a Caden Lindstrom and Adam Van Tilly, a Boone Jenner, a Cole Sillinger, with Isaac Lundestrom, and hey, you got Luca Del Balbaloo's coming, and you got other guys eventually coming as well. That's going to be awesome, center depth. So you can see why the Blue Jackets picked
Is
Caden Lindstrom.
there something in your background making noise? We get a lot of static.
I don't know.
Like
But
a fan.
now,
It's very loud, is all.
I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, so next up. So Caden Lindstrom played yesterday. No goals or points or anything, no assists, but he did good. He did good on the face-off circle. He won 9 out of 14 face-offs.
Nice.
So
That's pretty decent.
So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, next up, we got a little action shot from Penn State showing off Blue Jackets prospect Jackson Smith before the game. Warming up, getting a sip of water, getting ready to go for the game. So there's Blue Jackets prospect Jackson Smith.
And the good old fishbowl.
All right, next up. Thought this is cool. So a little starting lineup for Penn State hockey showing Blue Jackets prospect Jackson Smith. So from Basic Blues Nation, which is a Penn State fan account. So they were at the Penn State hockey game, and they showed the little starting lineup. And they're going to show Jackson Smith. Let's see. We're going to zoom. We're going to zoom this so we can see Jackson. All right. We'll back this up. We'll just play and wait for number 7. So there it is. There's Jackson Smith right there, and there he is on the scoreboard. So Jackson Smith in the starting lineup for Penn State. So that's cool to see. Blue Jackets prospect Jackson Smith.
Hell yeah.
So another thing I would, again, all right, this is going to be a little take from Ohio State. We did a take, we did a give. Now we got to do a little take here. Like, look at this. This is an awesome hockey setup. I wish Ohio State had something like this, because not that long ago, Penn State was in a similar situation like Ohio State was, where historically Penn State is known as a football school. From a sports perspective, that's it. They're they're good at football, and that's fine. But when you have a football-only mindset, the consequences of that is that your other sports suffer. They're going to suck. You're not going to put a lot of effort into it. They're not going to be very good, and because of that, they're not going to be very good. And then guys who may be good at hockey or baseball or basketball, they're going to look at you and say, well, why would I go there when I could go to some other school that's good at baseball or basketball and hockey, and I'm going to be good there, and they're going to develop me properly, and they have good facilities, and they're going to get me ready for the next level. That used to be Penn State. Penn State made the decision to change that and put, yes, you're a football school, historically good at football, but also you've made the decision to be more than just a football school. You've made the decision to put effort into your hockey program. And for that, you are rewarded with better players, better coaches, a new hockey facility. You just came off your best season ever, Frozen Four. That's stuff that's never happened in Penn State. And now you get Gavin McKenna, who is seen as one of the, top draft prospects in the 2026 NHL draft to come to your school. And then you get, Jackson Smith, who was seen as one of the top defenseman prospects in the 2025 NHL draft to come to your school. You get all these other good guys to come to your school because why? You made the decision to stop being a football only school and get off your ass and put some effort into your hockey team. This is what happens when you do that. When you do that, good stuff's going to happen. Unfortunately, Ohio State doesn't seem to be interested in doing that. They're okay with just being a football only school and then historically just watch all their other sports, metaphorically speaking, rot on the vine, where you don't really get attention and they're not very good. And every so often, maybe you get a good season here and there, but it's just that. Now, obviously, the women's hockey team for Ohio State the last 4 seasons, they've been in the national championship game. They won 2 of them. Good on you for doing that. But it's even amazing that they've been able to do that, given the fact that Ohio State doesn't really pay attention to other sports besides football. So why am I going on this little long rant here? Because I want Ohio State to be better. This is constructive criticism. We do a little give and a little take. We did the take earlier on. We did a little give earlier on. Now we're doing a take. I want you to be better, Ohio State. I want you to get rid of this football-only mindset because it's holding you back. I want you to be good consistently at other sports. It would be cool if you were known consistently for being good at something else on a consistent basis besides football. Yes, I know women's hockey's good, and I don't even mean this in a disrespectful way. But the truth is, from an outsider perspective, most people are not paying attention to women's sports. That's just how it is. I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but that's just how it is. So I would love Ohio State to get off their ass and let's put more effort into our other sports and just stop being a football-only school. Put more effort into your hockey program. Let's get a new hockey facility because the shot's awful. The women play at a peewee rink, which is embarrassing because, again, they've been in 4 national championships and they won 2 of them, and they're playing in a peewee rink. And
Right.
embarrassing. That's unacceptable. I have no doubts that hurts Ohio State because let's just say Ohio State tries to get a guy or a girl to come to Ohio State and try to play hockey for them. And they probably look at that and say, oh, you mean I have to play in the peewee rink or, oh, I have to play in the shot? That's not good when I could go to a different school and I could play in a better facility. Like, for some people that doesn't matter, but for a lot of people it does matter. For a lot of people, they're just going to school just so that they can get ready for the next level. That's their hopes, that's their dreams, that's their goals. That's what it is for a lot of these people. Some of them, they're going for school. Some of them, it's both school and sports. Some of them, they're just going there for sports. And then the school is just like a secondary thing. They're looking like, okay, if I go to this school, are they going to get me ready for the next level? Are they going to develop me correctly? And for some schools, the answer is yes. And some schools, the answer is no. And from a hockey standpoint, the unfortunate reality for Ohio State is the answer is no. There is no Adam Fantilli or a Kent Johnson or a Zach Werenski or a Johnny Gaudreau or Cam Atkinson type of a talent that come out of Ohio State. Because those types of guys look at Ohio State and they say, thanks, but no thanks. Nope, you don't have good facilities. Historically, you're not that good. You're average at best, and you don't have a good track record of developing guys to get ready for the next level. You don't develop top talent. Why would I go there? I could go to, now it's going to be, I could go to a Penn State. I could go to a Michigan State, a Wisconsin, a Boston College, a Minnesota, a Michigan, who historically are better at hockey and have much better track record of developing top talent and putting more effort into their hockey school. So, going on a little rant here, but I wish Ohio State you would put more effort into your hockey program because it's hurting you. You had a wide open chance to get Caden Lindstrom, Blue Jackets prospect Caden Lindstrom. He was right there because from summer of 2024, he was at the Blue Jackets development camp, and then he didn't leave Columbus until April 2025 when the Blue Jackets season was over. Caden Lindstrom was at the team Ohio. The Blue Jackets had a get together at the Ohio State football game. He was at that. Caden Lindstrom was at the Blue Jackets outdoor game. Caden Lindstrom saw the Ohio State environment, what it was about. If there was ever a chance to get him, that was it. But he shut it down. Why? Because he said, because it came down to two schools, Michigan and Michigan State. And he said Michigan and Michigan State because he liked the facilities, he liked the team, he liked the program, and he liked how both teams treated their hockey teams like NHL teams. That's not Ohio State. Maybe one day that changes. But until then, there's no reason to go to Ohio State if you're really good at hockey. They're just not. I want that to change. So to close this out, please put more effort into your hockey team, Ohio State. Stop being a football-only school, and let's put more effort into the hockey programs because they deserve it. It's embarrassing that Ohio State for hockey plays in a peewee rink for the women's and the men's play at the Shot. So we need to do better.
Yeah, it would be nice in a perfect world. I just, it's obvious where the priorities are going to go. I'm not sure that's going to shift anytime soon, unfortunately. But I think that as interest in hockey in general grows in Columbus, that it's only a matter of time at that point.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's just, you're getting a little slow here because you are you're letting the time go by. Everyone's going right past you, and you're falling behind your Big Ten competition because historically you can't be bothered to put effort into your hockey teams. And I get it. You're good at football. We love Ohio State. I like watching the football team. You're historically good. You're fun to watch. You just got another national championship this past season. That's great. But I think it's time to get with the times. Time to put effort in other sports. Look, Michigan is a perfect example of this. They're consistently good at football and they're consistently good at hockey. We've talked about this on the show before, but you just look at the guys that Michigan has produced over the years. It's ridiculously good. That guy went to Michigan. Oh, that guy went to Michigan. Wow, that guy went to Michigan. Wow. It'd be nice to say that about Ohio State, but you can't because they just don't do that. And some of the best players that the Blue Jackets have ever had, where they go to school, Michigan. Guys like Jack Johnson, guys like Adam Fantilli, guys like Kent Johnson, guys like Zach Werenski. Those are just some of the guys that have come out of a school like Michigan. And they're not the only Big Ten school that can say stuff like that. Wisconsin, Michigan State, Minnesota. I would love Ohio State to get with the times and let's put some more effort into the hockey program. You can be good at football and put effort consistently in other sports. Michigan and other schools have shown that you can do that. So I would love Ohio State to get going here and put more effort into your hockey programs. You can be good at football and also put effort into your other sports as well.
I feel that.
So there's that. Next up, I would like to say this, is that the goaltending has been an issue last season. There was some times where it was bad and times where it looked good. A little ups, a little downs, a little inconsistency. But I'd say 9 times out of 10, for the most part, it's been outstanding. It's been really good, and it's kept the Blue Jackets in games. And at times, it's been reasons why they won games because they get good goaltending to keep them in the games, to allow the Blue Jackets to get going and build themselves up, and then they score some goals, and everything is fine. So I've just been great to see, and it needs to keep going. So shout out to Elvis Merzlikins and Jet Greaves for playing a good game there, and just keep going because we're going to need that. And the little split that they're doing, where it's like Jet Greaves one game, Elvis Merzlikins one game, and then they go back and forth. That's been awesome as well, and they just need to just keep going. Let's just keep having this good goaltending.
Yeah. Just to throw some stats out there, both goalies now have 4 games apiece. Their wins and losses are switched. Graves has 1 win, 3 losses. Merzlikins has 3 wins, 1 loss. Those are not necessarily only on them. Obviously, there's a whole team out there playing. And to look at it a little bit further, Greaves has 11 goals against in 113 shots. It's 102 saves for 903 save percentage. That is extremely good. And he has actually saved, like I mentioned earlier, he's like 7th in the NHL in goals saved above expected. He's 24 years old. This is his first full season in the NHL. And he is showing what he's made of. I mean, his goals against average is lower than Merzlikins. It's a 2.79, sorry. He's showing out. That one loss, that one win, 3 losses doesn't necessarily showcase what he's done so far this season. In some of those games, the majority of them, I would imagine that it's the special teams that kind of let him down, because the defense plays really good in front of Greaves most of the time, but you lose that one extra guy in there. Then you're left out to dry. Merzlikins, though, in 4 games played, 4 games started, he's got 3 wins and 1 loss. He's got 12 goals against and 140 shots. So in the same amount of games, he's taken 27 more shots. That's almost a full game's worth of shots in the same amount of games. So that puts his save percentage up a little bit. He's a 9.14, which I believe is pretty above the average right now. The seasonal average from the past few years, it's going down by a point or two every year. I believe last year was something like a 908 or something, somewhere around there, 910, and so that's looking pretty good. His goals against average is 2.96, a little bit higher than Greaves, but then also he's got a couple more minutes. Overall, I'm pretty happy. The combined totals, they're 4-4, obviously. 23 goals against and 253 shots for 230 saves. It's a 909 combined save percentage. So it's still early in the season. Those stats are gonna, obviously, the averages are gonna change greatly as a lot more games are played. But for now, I'm not pleasantly surprised. I'm not surprised at all that they're doing this good. I'm just happy that I don't have much to complain about with it, really. So overall, great showing out for Greaves. I'm sure he's going to get some more wins here before too terribly long.
Oh, all right. Next up, so I've been wanting to talk about this about a couple shows here, but I keep forgetting, so I'm going to talk about it now. When I was in Columbus, driving up, I think it was High Street or something like that. Hyde Park Steakhouse. It's one of the fancy restaurants in Columbus. It's all the big names in Columbus go there. Rick Nash, he says he likes going there. And we're driving past it, and again, I like Ohio State, nothing against you. And I see an Ohio State flag, flying there at Hyde Park Steakhouse, and I thought that was cool. but at the same time, and I remember pulling out my phone and typing this on my phone, which was this is Hyde Park Steakhouse, get a Blue Jackets flag. So just throwing that one out there. Hyde Park, you got the Ohio State flag, which is cool. Go get yourself a Blue Jackets flag and put it out there to go with the Ohio State flag. We got it. You show support for Ohio State, but you also got to show support for the Blue Jackets. So just got to throw this one out there. Hyde Park Steakhouse. Get yourself a Blue Jackets flag. Put it out there with the Ohio State flag that you have.
Do it. It'd be sick.
Yes. Next up, another thing I've been wanting to talk about, but I keep forgetting about it, which is this. So it is a little shenanigans that Erica Branson's wife Sarah posted this on her Instagram page of Erica Branson's kids. Oh boy, doing a little oopsies, a little shenanigans. So this is kind of funny. This is a funny part of the show. We're gonna put this up on the screen here. So Erica Branson's wife Sarah walks into the closet where there should be clothes, and oh no, their kids put all the clothes on the floor. So we're gonna play this video. Actually, no. It's fine. But there it is. You see that? Look at that. Pull back this up. But yeah. Oops. that was it. And then here, and a video of Erica Branson playing with his kids. Anything to say on that, Happy Duck?
No, it's just pretty funny.
Yeah.
Kids being kids.
So.
Dang, I don't mean to turn this into a being annoyed thing, but the penalty that Branson took the other night, where he's such a big dude.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he barely touched him, but the way how tall he is, he hit him in like high up in the back, and the dude just toppled over on his face.
So
sorry, Goody.
Next up. So this is a little. So this has happened, but I've seen this happen before from my own personal experience, where I've gone to a Walmart north of Columbus in Dublin, Ohio. And you would think that they have Blue Jacket stuff, but not really. It's all Ohio State stuff. And we like Ohio State, but at the same time, if you are a store in and around the Columbus area, you need to have Blue Jacket stuff. And if you don't, that's very unacceptable and wrong, and you need to get with the times, and you need to fix that. Here we have High Gloss CBJ on Instagram, posting this, that he went to what I assume what looks like a Walmart and says, this is what we get for as NHL fans in NHL City, where you don't really see any Blue Jacket stuff. It's all Ohio State stuff. And it's like, that's not good. That's not acceptable. Like, that needs to change. You need to fix that and get with the times. That if you are a store in and around the Columbus area, you need to have Blue Jacket stuff. So this store right here, which I assume is a Walmart, probably, You need to do better, get with the times, and get some Blue Jackets stuff.
I was muted. Sorry, I had to clear my throat and forgot I was muted. Um, yeah, this is stupid to see because so like where I live, I do live like northern, like northeast Ohio, kind of centralized. But so I get the Browns,
Yeah.
the Guardians,
Yeah.
and Ohio State. But I literally go like an hour or half hour east. And so like last night I was trying to watch the or it was like a couple days ago I was trying to watch a game on NHL Network and it was blacked out. It was like a replay too, so I didn't know why. I was like, why is a replay blacked out? Oh, it was the Penguins game. I don't live near I don't
Yeah.
live in PA. I
Yeah.
don't live close to PA.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing too, is like in this area, I will see Steelers stuff a lot more and Penguin stuff a lot more sooner than I'll see Blue Jacket stuff sometimes. I mean, even if I got monster stuff, like that would be cool, at least close enough for that. But I do gotta step back and realize and understand that the football is forever gonna be the bigger sport in the United States.
That's fair.
But this is also a college team compared to a professional team, and just having something, just like one rack of like a couple shirts, like a hat or two, some sort of flag, some sort of stickers, something like that, something small, is very surprising to me that they don't actually have anything there. I mean, I get it, Ohio State's your
Yeah.
big money maker, but you know, we say hockey's for everyone, but everyone's not for hockey.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this. I know it's kind of hard to see, but where my mouse is right there, there's a Blue Jackets pennant. So that's good that they have that.
Oh, okay, cool. At least we got something small to like at
But
least.
so like it's good that they have it, but still, this is still unacceptable. You need more Blue Jacket stuff. You need to get with the times, Blue Jacket stuff to go with the Ohio State stuff. More and more stores in and around the Columbus area, they get that. They understand that now. But sometimes you still see stupid garbage like this where it's still like they just don't get it yet. It's like, nah, I'm sorry. This would have been acceptable like, 30, 40 years ago when Ohio State was really the only thing in town, but not anymore. Like, you need to have Blue Jacket stuff. You need to get with the times, and you need to have Blue Jacket stuff. If you are a store in and around the Columbus area, you need to have Blue Jacket stuff. It's not good enough anymore, or it's not even acceptable anymore, in my opinion, to just have Ohio State stuff. You need Blue Jacket stuff to go with the Ohio State stuff because the Blue Jackets and Ohio State are the two big names in Columbus, the two big dogs in Columbus. You need to have it. You need Blue Jacket stuff to go with Ohio State stuff. So I'll say it one more time. If you are a store in Columbus or around Columbus / Columbus area, you need to have Blue Jacket stuff. It's time. Get with the times and have Blue Jacket stuff.
Yeah, like to a certain extent, I would understand them not having like crew stuff to a certain extent because you're right. They're the two big dogs in on campus. The crew, they're pretty big, but their valuation is like 900 million.
Yeah.
It says they're valued at 900 million in July. The Blue Jackets are like, a lot.
More.
When you think of 900 million compared to 1.8 billion, you're like, oh, it doesn't seem too far off. That
It is.
is another like 800 million.
Yeah.
Or 900 million. Wait.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of freaking money, dude. Right. And it's like literally like they're like worth like almost double what they are here. And I mean, to be fair, then Ohio State's probably worth like I don't know, like triple that,
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah.
I have no clue. I'm not gonna look it up because I don't want to be disappointed. But yeah, pretty weird to see. We need some more representation.
Yes, we do. All right, so there's that. Because I'm in Minnesota, got to give a shout out to the Gophers. Probably besides Ohio, this is probably my favorite non-Ohio State logo. Is the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and it's got playing hockey, and it's got the hockey gloves, and it's got a hockey stick with the puck, and it's got skates on. So, gotta give a shout out to the Gophers since I'm in Minnesota.
Hell yeah.
And
Sorry, I keep having to clear my throat.
so, I will say this: I've also been to a rally house here in Minnesota, and much like the rally houses that you have in Ohio, I've been to some in the Columbus area, and I've been to one in the Cincinnati area. And the general idea of Rally House is that it is a good store that has lots of stuff there from all the the teams in that area. Obviously, the ones in Ohio that I've been to have done a good job of having Ohio sports stuff. So like the one in the Cincinnati area has a lot of good Reds, Bengals, FC Cincinnati, Bearcat stuff. Even had some Blue Jacket stuff there, so that was cool to see. And then the ones in and around the Columbus area, Hefty Duck's been to one of them. I've been to one of them. Is that they do a real good job of having Ohio sports stuff there. So like the one I've been to, and I know the one Hefty Duck's been to, is that they do a good job of, obviously there's Ohio State stuff there, and then there's the Cleveland teams, so the Guardians and the Browns, and they do a good job of having Reds and Bengals stuff there. They have Crew stuff there. They got some Clippers stuff there, and they do a good job of having a lot of Blue Jacket stuff there. So they do a good job there. The Rally House that I've been to here in Minnesota is also a good one. They do a good job of representing all their sports teams here. So if you lived in Minnesota and you like the Minnesota sports teams, this particular Rally House would be their rally house for you. It'd be perfect because name a Minnesota sports team, they have it. They have the Twins. They got a lot of good Twins stuff there. They have some good Vikings stuff there. You like the Timberwolves. They got some good Timberwolves stuff there. Minnesota has a soccer team, Minnesota United, so they had some stuff there. Obviously they have the Wild, so they had a lot of good Wild stuff there. It was just cool to look at. And obviously most of my time there at that rally house was looking at the Wild stuff because hockey, and just seeing all the cool stuff that they had there. I saw a little bit of the Twins and the Vikings, but most of it was looking at what they had for the Wild because hockey. And I did look at the Gophers stuff there just because I like that Gophers logo. And they did have some stuff with the Gophers logo. And we've reviewed Minnesota's hockey jerseys before on the show, along with other Big Ten schools like, Michigan and Wisconsin and Michigan State and Penn State and Ohio State. And the Rally House in Minnesota did have the red Minnesota jersey with the yellow M on it. That was cool to see in person. They also had two shirts that were cool that I liked, that I saw, which was two Minnesota Golden Gophers hockey shirts that had the cool Gophers logo on it with the gopher and the hockey gloves and the hockey stick. So this one, they had some shirts on it with that logo on it. So that was cool. That was cool to see. But most of the time in that rally house, I was spent looking at the Wild stuff because hockey. I also went to the Wild store yesterday and I got some pucks because I like anytime I'm at like a hockey game, I like to go to the team store and add to the puck collection. So I got some Wild pucks And one puck that really stands out is, of course, Minnesota had their home opener against the Blue Jackets, so they were selling pucks that had, the date of the home opener and a Wild logo and the Blue Jackets logo on it. So when I saw that, I had to get that. So that was cool. And like the Minnesota Wild store, it is a good store. However, though, and there's a lot of good stuff you can get there. However, it is small. It is small. And, luckily, I've been there for a game when it's sold out 18,000 plus there, and you try walking in that store, and it is very hard to walk around. It's a pain in the ass. It's not very fun. You don't have a lot. You're kind of squished in there, and it's kind of hard to walk around. And I remember, getting some stuff there when I was last there in March of 2024 for a game. And I just got some pucks and I looked at some stuff. And then it's like, I just looked at my dad like, we got to get out of here because it's just too much. It's too small and it's not made for like 18,000 plus people. It just isn't. So like we paid for the stuff and then we got out of there. This time we were there before a game. So there was like one or two people in there, so it wasn't as bad of an issue, but it's still small. It's, it's not compared to what the Blue Jackets have. It's way bigger. And I now appreciate what the Blue Jackets have compared to other teams because I've also been to the Panthers store down in Florida, and that's also a small store. A lot of cool stuff there, but it's also small. So I'm never not going to rip on the Blue Jackets store because the Blue Jackets are very fortunate enough that they have a good store and it's big so that you have a lot of space to walk around and you don't have to worry about getting squished in there because it's too small. You don't have to worry about that. That the Blue Jackets have a nice big store compared to what the Wild have, which is it's a good store, a lot of good stuff you could get there if you like the Wild, but it's small. It can be kind of hard to walk into. So if it was a nitpick, I would go to the Minnesota Wild and say, well, if there's a way that you can find a way to make your store bigger, that would make it easier for everyone. So just want to throw that one out there as well, that, the store that the Wild have, it's a good one, but it's small, and the Blue Jackets have a better store because it's bigger and, a little more selection because it's bigger and it's a lot more easier to walk around in.
Yeah, it's one thing. Like, if you haven't been in any other like arenas in the NHL, that people don't really think about certain things like that. I mean, you can get glimpses of arenas from TV sometimes, obviously, and if anyone ever thinks that Nationwide is not up to par, please
Nah.
go to PPG Arena. Go. I mean, there's a lot of history there. The building's old.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else. Go see how it is. I mean, there's a lot of great arenas out there. I'm not saying that it has to be the number one best in the league, but it's pretty nice. And the building is relatively new. They do renovations on it all the time. They redid the roof this last season. Sorry, I just had a straight up fly right at my face. I think I just killed it with my hand. Sorry if I hit my microphone. That was pretty impressive. Call me Spider-Man. Well, we are getting close here to the end of our show.
Yeah. So
you got anything else to run over real quick?
Yeah, I got one last thing. I've showed this on the show before, but I'm going to show it again because I like it and it's one of my favorite pictures, which is, I'm going to put this up on the screen. As you know, all right, we showed a little love to other Big Ten schools in Ohio State and the Gophers mascot with my favorite Gophers logo. But, we're an Ohio sports themed show. So you know what? Let's give some love to Brutus, Ohio State's mascot, who is wearing a Blue Jackets jersey. And this is one of my favorite pictures because it combines Ohio State and the Blue Jackets, and it puts them together in one picture. And I like it. It's one of my favorite pictures. And shout out to Brutus showing support for the Blue Jackets. And I like it when Ohio State and the Blue Jackets come together and show support for each other. So shout out to Brutus, Ohio State's mascot, for showing support for the Blue Jackets.
Hell yeah.
So, well, that's all I got for now. You know, I was kind of worried towards in the middle of the show that we're going to run out of stuff to talk about there, but we found stuff to talk about, and we didn't have to cut it short. So that was good. But anyway, so after Duck, you can say your stuff, and then I'll say mine, and then we can get out of here.
Sure. Just as a reminder to everyone, we don't have any sponsors. We chose at one point we did. I chose to pull out of every network. That way we can do whatever we want, however we want to, whenever we want to. So if you'd like to support the show, the easiest way to do that is we're not selling anything. We don't give a shit. Just share and like what we do. We do this for fun. This is a fan-based podcast, so we appreciate any follows, any likes, anything out there that anyone does. It's free. It's the easiest way to support us. But that being said, I am kind of the show's sponsor. So check out my tattoo work. I'm at Lance Schrock Tattoos on an Instagram. You can find me on Twitter at Lance_Schrock. And I mean, hell, my Facebook's a business page too. So if you really want to, you can follow me there, I guess. I post a lot more there than most other places, which is ironic because we don't give a shit about our Blue Jackets Facebook. Because it's too much. But do follow us on Twitter. Do follow us on YouTube. Check us out. If we do get more followers on Facebook, we will stream again there sometime. It's not really important to me because we just don't get much interaction there. It's our Twitters, our big group there. So thank you, all of you guys out there in Twitter world. Thank you to all of our audio listeners as well. If you'd like to listen to us on audio, maybe you want to drive to work or something like that, and listen to us rant about Ohio State sucking, but we love them. We love them. Just tough love. Then check us out: Spotify, Google, YouTube, anywhere that there's podcasts, we are there. So check it out. Other than that, we will post more about our schedule here sometime within the next week. I don't want to say on air right now because we didn't talk about it yet, and things happen. Obviously, we're here bright and early on this Sunday. Now it's afternoon. It was morning. Hold on, can you take that down? There we go. We appreciate all of y'all being here with us, and we're looking forward to another week of Blue Jackets hockey. So catch us here soon next week. I'm out.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to say one more quick thing. Now I'll get to my stuff. So Dave Portnoy, I noticed you're coming to Columbus this upcoming Saturday for Ohio State Penn State because you have a job working for Fox for their big noon college football kickoff show that they do every Saturday. And I know you like coming to Columbus for doing some pizza reviews, which you've done, and I think that's cool that you do that you do some pizza reviews and you help out some businesses in the Columbus area. You really help them out. That's great to see. And, I know you're a big Michigan guy, and you do come to Columbus to, kind of take shots at Ohio State. I get that. It is what it is. I wish you wouldn't do that, but I get it. You're a Michigan guy, so you do it. I get it. But I have an idea for you. The idea is this, you're coming to Columbus for your job that you're doing for Fox, for the big noon football college football kickoff show that you do. You're probably going to do some pizza reviews because I know you like to do pizza reviews whenever you go to a new city. Here's this. Here's a more constructive and productive way to use that cheering on Michigan energy when you're in Columbus. Go to the Blue Jackets game. Go to the Blue Jackets game. There's 2 of them this upcoming week. The Blue Jackets play this upcoming Wednesday against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and this upcoming Saturday night. Not only is Ohio State football in town against Penn State, big game for Ohio State, looking forward to that, but also the same day, the Blue Jackets have a home game. So not only will you be in Columbus probably doing some pizza reviews and some other stuff, go to the Blue Jackets game and support your fellow Michigan alumni, Kent Johnson, Zach Werenski, and Adam Fantilli. That is a more productive way to use that cheering on Michigan energy while in Columbus. You want to cheer on Michigan when you're in Columbus? The best way to do that is go to a Blue Jackets game and cheer on your fellow Michigan alumni, Adam Fantilli, Zach Werenski, and Kent Johnson. So one last thing I'll say, Dave Portnoy, I know you're coming to Columbus. Go to the Blue Jackets game and support your fellow Michigan alumni, Adam Fantilli, Kent Johnson, and Zach Werenski. So that's all I have to say about that. There we go. So anything to say or no, Hefty Doc?
No, I do not. Sorry.
Okay, then. All right. Got to give a shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. The best of the best. So, wish you're still here, man, so I could still talk some hockey with you and see what's going on with the Blackhawks, because the Blackhawks were your favorite team. The Blue Jackets became your second favorite team because of me, and I appreciate that. So, wish you're still here so I could talk some hockey with you, and I enjoyed seeing you at family parties and get-togethers and holidays like Christmas Eve and Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter and so much more, and family get-togethers and birthday parties and so much more. So I wish you're still here so I could talk some hockey with you. Shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Thank you for everything.
May rest in peace, Uncle Doc.
And one last thing for me is don't forget, you should check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. So that's it for me for now. We're going to get out of here.
Hell yeah. Thanks, everyone, for being here once again. We'll discuss our timing for next week. Generally, we are around the same time as much as possible. But thanks all for joining us today. We'll see you.